All right, so there's a difference between Windows and Linux. All right, Windows out of the box doesn't natively support SSL and PuTTY and all this other kind of stuff, right? So when you spin up a Windows instance, there's a couple of other things you guys need to learn how to do. So today, it's Windows. How do we feel about Windows? Yay! All right, so there's some twitches. You still want your key and everything, and we can still use Classic Wizard. And again, remember, we're being cheap. So we're going to go and select the Windows 2008 base server, right? It's absolutely a streamlined, stripped down version of the thing. 64 or 32, it doesn't really matter. All right. One instance, make sure you're doing the T1 micro. It's up to you, whatever you feel like to put it in here. And then just basically go through and do your thing. Make sure you choose your key pair and not someone else's. Right? Now, there's a new security group, because what happens if the firewall is blocking? It doesn't go through, so the security group opens up RDP 3389, all right? So your security group for Windows, this is the quick start one. And then that will just go ahead and start it up. And then you can see your instance go ahead and start as it kind of goes. So as we kind of wait for this thing to come up, right, you get some new options with this one that you wouldn't get otherwise. All right. And one of the things that you really want to pay attention to is this one that's kind of grayed out right now where we're waiting for it to come up, which is get Windows password. How hard is it to get into Windows if you don't know what the password is?
Not hard.
Not hard. All right. Does that mean my box came up yet? Yes. So one of the things you want to do is you want to get the Windows password, right? And what that does is that you wait, but it will automatically generate you a new Windows password. All right. So when you get it, then you can just go through standard RDP to go through and connect, right? So when you look at your security group on this guy, where'd my page go? Oh, that's just a weird render. I know when pages don't render right. So when we look at the security group and we look at my quick start one, the only thing that we're allowing inbound is 3389 in the firewall rule for anybody, right? If we wanted to create a new rule for inbound, they give you a whole bunch of different things that you can choose, right? If you want to have every port open, by all means, you're free to have every port open. If you want to have every UDP port, all the ICMP, SSH, SMTP, DNS, it depends on what you're going to have this server do, right? Yes, sir.
Is this adding to what you have as default for 3389?
Yes.
How do you take away a port? You know, like if you want to.
All right, so if we add DNS, right, and we add rule, and then we decide we don't want to have DNS, then we just delete it.
Okay,
Right? Yes, Mariah, what was your question?
Are we printing it here?
No, you use your previous key. Everyone should be using their previous key as much as humanly possible. Right? Because too many keys can be kind of a painful thing. Right? And then when you want to do and you want to apply your rule changes, just click on apply rule changes. Oh, people are following along with. Yes, Dan.
I got a question. Which Windows were you using again?
Hold on to that thought. All right. Once you've got it launched up, you can say get Windows password. And all right, I'm still waiting. All right, so we're going to wait here for the password to come up, and we'll go from there. So I'm just going to hold on to this for a minute. All right, so we're back at this. So when you right-click it and you go get Windows password, right? This is your encrypted password. This whole thing. If you want to put in your private key pair, right, you can browse for your private key pair to wherever you put it.
When you request Windows password, is it going to take a while for it to retrieve?
It will take a while for it to do its thing.
I was going to say, what is it?
Mm-hmm.
Hey Dan,
Uh-huh.
when you're putting in the private key, are you putting in the one that they gave you, or are you putting in the PuTTY generated one?
Good question, Steven.
Oh, I'm screwing up. So, hold on just a minute. Kingston. Pen. Alright, so in the PEM file you have your private key. So you want to copy all that, right? So this is why you need your PEM back. And you drop it in there.
So you just copy the pen drill?
Yeah.
So where's the PEM file located?
The PEM file is located wherever you put it on your computer.
You can open that.
And then it will let you decrypt the password once you put it in there. Alright, so that's my decrypted password. So whenever I spin up this system, then we can go so we want to keep that key, right? So we pick our box, ask for connections, want to use another account, and then the password that I saved off. Log on attempt fails. If it, oh, domain Highline. I don't want that domain. And then it will secure it. Again, you just need to make sure that everything is like kosher when it does this. And this takes a minute. Windows is not necessarily the fastest thing in the Amazon environment. So, yep. Yes, we do. But the good part is that this will actually drop it up into an SS secure, at least, so when you're passing your credentials back and forth, you don't really need to sweat it. But that's basically all there is to connecting to a Windows box, right? And it's having the PEM key to make sure that you can actually go through and it knows how to decrypt your password for you. So when you go through, if you ever forget your password, you can always decrypt that password later in the hash that Amazon's going to provide to you, right? But that's basically it to get the Windows password. All right, so let's go through this one more time.
Take a significant time to decrypt.
No, not really. So remember, we get Windows password, right? We browse for our PEM file key. We decrypt the password. All right, then we copy this. We save it off into a file so we know what we've got, right? Because I'm going to want this thing later. Then you go into remote desktop connection. You put your outside facing into this guy, right?
You want to make sure that you put in that you are the administrator for that box. You can take out all the extra domain happy stuff. and then whatever your password was. Get the little warning, oh my god, we're all going to die. And then it will let you connect up. And that's really all there is to connecting to a Windows box. All right, so does it make sense? All right, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go ahead and shut all my stuff down, but you would set the server up just like you'd set up any other server, right? It works just like any other Windows server that you'd ever have, except for this is the really streamlined Windows 2008, so it's really kind of small. Make sure though that when you go that you actually do log out. If you click shut down from here, it will shut down the instance over on the Amazon side. If you click restart, it will restart the Amazon instance on the other side. So make sure that you just click log off, okay? Otherwise you may do something that you didn't necessarily intend on doing, which can be horrible. It will only support one connection at a time, right? And that's pretty much so how you connect to your Windows box.
Can you add more than one connection?
You can, based on how much memory and all the rest of the stuff you've got. With the T1 micros, you're really just limited to one. That's really all you're going to do, because you're trying to shove a whole Windows 2008 into 618 megs of RAM. And that's an ugly, ugly thing, right? This is not a high-performance standard kind of thing. All right, so any other questions? Shoot.
Mine has a 1 out of 2 checks.
Then it hasn't passed the second check yet, so you'll have to wait for it to pass the second check.
No, it did it, and then it came back. It's not passed.
Okay, so hold on to that thought. Any other questions? You guys all think you can do this today. This is your mission today. Are you guys good?
To just review.
Yep. That's all you got to do is just remote in.
Then you'll be happy.
And I will be a happy, happy camper. Because it's Monday. Monday is the best day of the entire week. All right? Good.